Hi, I'm Mike K, and today we're going to talk about making kefir. Kefir is a fermented milk, and it's a natural product called kefir grains that contain up to 22 different types of common bacteria and up to 9 types of yeast. So it's both a cultured and fermented milk that as I put it, it's a lot like buttermilk, just with a little extra zip in it. And I'll show you the kefir grains when we get started with making actual kefir. But I did this the first time, and I only had one container of kefir, and it would take between 36 and 48 hours before I ended up with the final product I was happy with. And basically, with doing research, I found out that you're supposed to use a tablespoon of kefir for 1 cup of milk. So to make a quart of it like I wanted to, it will take 4 of them. And after a while, I just kind of got tired of waiting, and I just got tired of waiting all that time, and I felt that to make a better kefir, I needed the full 4 tablespoons for a quart of milk, and that way I could keep things going. But essentially, you take your milk, and I prefer to heat it up because it helps make fast the proteins, so everything binds and you end up with a better product. And also that it just, I feel, brings out the sugars, which also ferment. But kefir is tangy, but it has a sweet dynamic to it, and basically, it's an enjoyable drink, and it's healthy. It helps make milk more tolerable, especially for adults. So we're going to get started. Beep! With making with redoing the kefir project from 1 to 1 tablespoon of kefir crystals to a quart of milk. I decided to go with 1 tablespoon per cup of milk, just to get a better, a quicker mix. And I purchased these a couple months ago, and I couldn't wait to get into the project, except I became bill poor and really couldn't get the milk, as I had other bill and food needs to take care of first. So when I was ready, I set up, and when I opened it, I found a orangish twinge to it, or a tint, and that indicates that bad bacteria like listeria got involved. So even though they were refrigerator kept, they have a life. And there's not a lot of information about it, but essentially when a tinge develops in milk, it has bad bacteria that you don't want to ingest, which will make you sick. There's listeria, and there's a couple other ones. And so I had to forego it. And the problem is, I purchased the kefir crystals online at Amazon, and they come in different dates between next day to 2 weeks. And to eliminate that frustration, I've decided I'm only making a one cup batch. So these Kefir crystals we're not using, they go into the trash. And the problem is I purchase Kefir crystals online at Amazon. It's convenient. You can find them cheaper, but by the time you add postage into it, then the price goes up. And if you're looking, there's little groups online also, and they'll send you, some people will just up and mail you little batches of crystals. One of the things is the Kefir grains will tend to grow on you. It can increase 10-20% at a time, so you get more and more crystals or Kefir grains. And then what happens is, as you do bigger batches of Kefir, then it ends up as chicken feed. People just give them away to a good home. Not the chickens, the Kefir grains. And now we're ready to get started, so I'll show you the good Kefir grains I have. Now this is the milk I prefer for making Kefir, and it's 100% organic and grass-fed. And it's ultra pasteurized. I would prefer just a pasteurized version, but with heating it up, I still get very good results from it. Now, it's a little more on the expensive side. It costs between $6.45 and I've paid as much as $7.50 per half gallon of milk. But I find it tastes much better than regular milk. Plus, it's more stable. It has a better shelf life, and it's worth the cost. I don't drink that much milk than just what the regular milk you buy at the store. So I've had very good results, and I don't want to change it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to measure out a cup of milk, and since we're cooking it, very often they tell you to heat it up in a pan. I prefer a double boiler. And that's it. The object is to get it up to about 180 degrees. Some will tell you to cook it for 10 minutes, but I don't find that necessary. Once you get, because the proteins will start to cook as you're bringing it up to temperature. I try to keep it slow between 150 and 160 so that it cooks more. And that's basically it. Then we allow it to cool down. I just let it go naturally. It'll end up back in here. I'll clean this out first, pour it in, and check the temperature every 10 to 20 minutes. And then when it hits about 110, then we put the new Kefir grains into it. Okay, we got the milk, and it's heated up. It's already dropped, but I started at 519. It hit 135 at 5:25 p.m. And then I lowered the amount of heat. And it came up the temperature at 5:37 p.m. And it only took about 18 minutes to complete this. The next step is I tend to take the skin that forms on the ink off. The skin that forms on the milk off. Sorry, I'm a printer, and we don't like skin on inks either. I do it because what happens is it tends to remain and congeal. And to help it cool down, I'm pouring it into the container I'm going to be doing the culturing in. And I'll let you know when when it gets cool enough. The ideal temperature I like putting the kefir grains in is 105 to 110 degrees. It doesn't affect the bacteria. I figure the crystals also act as insulation, and I think it helps activate the yeast in the kefir grains. So that'll be the next step. Okay, got the milk down to a more suitable temperature. It's about between 101 to 106. So now it's time to introduce our new kefir grains and start it. This is how it came. Just a small guy. Oh, it has a cute little thank you sticker. Now these tend to leak a little bit. But I'll show you how they look. And it's a lot whiter and it's fluffier. These are very fine grains. The grains will tend to be a little larger, not much. And we simply dump them and put them in. Now, these grains were purchased through Amazon. And from the Life Probiotics and Wellness store. So this is one of 4 sources. And that's it. We cover it. Unfortunately, there's a gnat problem. And do my best to keep gnats out of it. But so then we're going to check it after 12 hours and see how it is, and then we'll decide whether or not to bottle it or to give it more time. Now what I'm going to do tomorrow is, once I strain the crystals out and put the milk in a container, I'll immediately start another batch. And until the other crystals arrive, some's due by Friday, others throughout next week, will go to, when I add the next batch in, it'll go to 2 cups, 3 cups, and then finally I expect to have enough to be able to do a full 1 quart batch until, and then I plan to do that every 3 days so that I don't run out of kefir again.